Boom! What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Happy Friday to you all, and welcome to another live beer review. Today, I'm going to give a fair warning because this brewery is out of the Netherlands. Just letting you know, I'm excited that I'm finally able to review a beer that's not from the country, but there might be a little bit of name botching when it comes to the name of the beer and a little bit of naming the brewery itself. But we got an Imperial Milk Stout today from, okay, I'm going to try to say it. Moersleutel. I don't even know how I'm going to say this right, but Moersleutel Craft Brewery. They're located out of the Netherlands, and this one is called the Smeerolie Coconut Milkshake. And just look at that can art. I think this can art's pretty sick when it comes to just a lot of the detail in there. And there's a different feel to this kind of can art too. I'll get into that when we're starting to grade all the different stuff on our end over here. But this is a milk stout with that's conditioned on coconut and chocolate. So it's like almost like kind of like a milkshake, maybe like a coconut chocolate kind of milkshakey kind of milk stout. And I'm pretty damn excited to give this one a try. I don't know. I rarely am ever so when it comes to things that I review, most of the time it's stuff from the States, and it just happens. That's how Tavor usually get stuff in your hands when you order it. It's usually stuff from the States, but every once in a while, every once in a blue moon, they'll get their hands on something from another country and be able to, and have that available to purchase. So I purchased this one like instantly because I saw it was from the Netherlands, and I've always wanted to try more beers from overseas and all that kind of stuff, just because things might be a little bit different over there. How their ingredients might be different, how they're using them is a little bit different. So I've always wanted to see what the European side of some beers that we enjoy over here in the States is like. So I'm pretty damn excited to try this one out. A lot of people don't like coconut, but when it comes to it, when it's in beers, I really don't taste it to where it's like too crazy coconutty. But I think a nice balance of coconut and chocolate is always a really, really nice kind of flavor balance when it comes to putting it into a stout. So I'm pretty damn excited to give this one a try. So let's crack this thing open and see what we get on the nose. I'm expecting this to be pretty damn creamy, just because if I have milkshake in the name, there's definitely going to be a creaminess to it. Of course, I believe there's the addition of lactose in here as well. But, okay, so it's imported to a place in Michigan is where it's imported. So this one may be able to be purchased over in the States. If you're in Michigan, this may be something that's imported over there, so that's kind of good to know. But yeah, I just want to give this one a shot, so let's crack this thing open and see what we get on the nose with this one. A beer brewed in the Netherlands. I never thought I'd be having this in my possession. But yeah, loads of chocolate coming through. Definitely getting some of the maltiness coming through. Almost like notes of like a dark chocolate coming through. Definitely more. Yeah, it smells pretty damn delicious. Not really getting any coconut on the nose, but I'm definitely getting a little bit of like roasted malts in there. Yeah, it smells pretty damn delicious. So I'm going to be drinking this out of my untapped little tulip glass this afternoon. And Ian, this may be a brewery that you can get your hands on. I don't know. I don't even know how to pronounce them. I don't know if you do even know the correct way how to pronounce this brewery. But it's Moersleutel. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Ian, I don't know if you can get your hands on this stuff over there in your neck of the woods, but if this thing's good, this is definitely going to be the one I'm going to have you look out for, because I think you might really enjoy this, because I know you love your stouts. So let's pour this thing and see what this thing's all about. Oh yeah, black as my soul, like expected. Definitely a little bit, just the littlest amount of like a light brownish head to them. But yeah, this looks absolutely delicious, if I say so myself. Always enjoy a nice kind of milk stout just to get the blood flowing, you know? But yeah, still getting a lot of like almost dark roasted chocolate kind of notes. The cacao nibs is definitely what's going to give that almost bitter chocolate kind of flavor. Definitely getting the sweetness coming through, maybe from the coconut. But yeah, it smells absolutely delicious. So let's give this thing a shot and see what it's all about. So, cheers everybody. Happy Friday. Oh yeah, so right off the bat, if I didn't mention it before, this is yeah, I know, right? Never heard of it, but that's not saying much. So, but I'm assuming, Ian, you can get your hands on stuff in like the Netherlands and all that kind of stuff, because I guess it's around your neck of the woods when it comes to pretty close when it comes to distribution. I'm not sure how the UK gets stuff distributed to them from other countries around there, but right off the bat with this one, if I didn't mention it before, this thing comes in at 10% ABV. So, of course, I would not consider this beer sessionable whatsoever. But there's definitely, up front, you're getting a nice kind of dark, nice bitter dark chocolate kind of feel to it, which is really nice. Coconut, I'm not getting much of. To me, it's definitely creamy. There's definitely a nice creaminess to it. So I think there was an additional lactose in this one, if I remember correctly. But yeah, this is like almost like a creamy dark chocolate kind of stout. I don't really get any elements of a milkshake almost. I was thinking maybe if there's a milkshake kind of element to it, they maybe would add like malt powder or something to kind of give an extra like sweeter chocolatey kind of note. But you get the flavors of the roasted malts, you get the booziness, you get that almost like bitter semi-sweet chocolate kind of flavor. Not really much when it comes to the coconut, which I wasn't expecting a lot of coconut come through just because coconut's a very, very light flavor when it's added to a beer, so you're really not going to get much of it. So overall, the flavors in this one are pretty damn solid. I'm enjoying this one. It's definitely more on the bitter side, almost like getting hints of like, at the aftertaste, almost getting hints of like tobacco and almost notes like that. So it's interesting. Definitely an upfront like bitter chocolate flavor, but having that almost... Stop licking my... What are you doing, dog? I can hear my dog licking her paws behind me. It's the worst sound ever. You good? Okay. But yeah, the flavors in this one are nice. But the interesting thing that I'm getting on the end is that almost like tobacco roasty kind of flavor that lingers. I haven't tasted that kind of flavor in a long time. So wasn't expecting it. Definitely wasn't expecting. Never expecting getting hints of like a tobacco kind of note with this one. So that's something that's very interesting when it comes to what I'm tasting specifically on this one. So let's look over here on Untapped, and of course, if you can't get your hands on this Smeerolie coconut milkshake from Moersleutel, this is a pain in the ass brewery to pronounce. It's the Moersleutel. I'm just gonna say Moersleutel. That's gonna be the best way that I'm gonna pronounce it. But knowing that these guys in the Netherlands, and of course there's importing from Michigan, so maybe somewhere on the Midwest you may be able to find this stuff. But let's look and see what Untapped shows as similar beers to this one, because it looks like this the Smeerolie like milkshake is like their namesake kind of milk stout. They have a bunch of different variants when it comes to like their barrel aged variants and all that kind of stuff. So this is just another variant of their milkshake kind of stout. Hey, would you stop, you turd? So that's the disadvantage of having my dog in here. She can just making random weird sounds. But let's look and see what Untapped shows for similar beers on this one. So we got a couple that I've seen before when it comes to just, they're like blanket kind of similar beers that show up. I don't know why they're the ones that always show up. Maybe they're paying for it to show up on similar beers, but I don't know. But we got a couple from The Answer here. We got the Quiet as the Answer, which I've talked about before. We got the Stephen Summers Macaroon, which is, let's see what this guy is. It's an Imperial Double Milk Stout, 10%, coming from The Answer. And The Answer is located in Richmond, Virginia. I've always wanted to try them. I see them show up on stuff with Untapped all the time. So that's definitely a brewery that I want to kind of look out for, because you never know. We got another one from Angry Chair Brewing. That's the Barrel Age Adjacent Trail. And let's see, we got one here from High Branch Brewing Co. called Ain't Playin'. It's a double stuffed Oreo. That's going to definitely be more sweeter, in my opinion. But let's see what else we got here. We got the one from Little Cottage Brewery called the Double Barrel Cobra Kai, which is from Little College Brewery. Let's see what this one shows. Where are these guys out of? These guys are out of Georgia. But yeah, this one's milk stout, cacao nibs, vanilla beans, and coffee. That actually might be pretty damn close. I think it might help with a little bit like the booziness. And then we got the Quiet as the Answer from The Answer. So to be honest, I think I might be going with this barrel-aged Cobra Kai to be the most similar to this one for something that's available in the States, even though this stuff is imported from the Netherlands. Moersleutel, I guess, yeah. Yeah, Moersleutel L. Yeah, that's pretty much what it sounds like, I guess you could say, Ian. But overall, yeah, I think this barrel-aged Cobra Kai is going to be the most similar to this one. I know there's a bunch of milk stouts out there that have more of those bitter kind of chocolate flavors, not really having crazy amount of sweetness. Even though it's a milk stout, use of lactose just is in there to help add for creaminess for the mouthfeel. But overall, this beer is pretty damn solid. I'm impressed. The hint of tobacco at the end that I'm getting is what's kind of holding on for me, because it's almost reminiscent in my head. Because back when I smoked cigarettes, it was always at the bar, drinking a beer and having a cigarette. So having that kind of flavors kind of coming together almost, it's definitely really, really reminiscent. That's why it's definitely really, really interesting here. But let's look at some verified locations before we start reading the description and the ratings and all that stuff on this one. So we got a place in Oslo that called the Good Night, which is a verified location that you could possibly pick up some stuff from this brewery or this beer specifically. A couple other things that I'm not going to be able to pronounce, but one's called the Cardinal Pub and Bar in Rogaland. I don't know if that's a state in the Netherlands. I don't know. And then I want to see if Ian knows this one, because I think NSW stands for New South Wales, but it's a place in Manly. It's called the Winona. So I don't know if that's a craft beer bottle shop out there, but if that stands for New South Wales, that may be something that's available in the UK kind of situation. What's up, Kevin? How you doing, brother? But let's start looking here and seeing what the average ratings and stuff, and see if anybody in my friends list check this one in. But before we do that, the description of this one's pretty simple. It says infused with coconut, vanilla, and lactose. So the coconut is gonna add a little bit of sweetness. It's gonna help get a little bit of that almost like non-chocolatey sweetness in there. The vanilla is gonna help with that kind of slight light sweetness that would help out with the coconut, and the lactose is always just going to add there for creaminess. And of course with the cacao nibs, a lot of the times when you're only using the nibs, you're bringing out more bitter flavors. Sometimes you'll get sweeter flavors when it comes to when you're using the nibs and the husks, so you can use the cacao husks as well in your beer. That has a little bit more of a sweeter flavor. But let's check and see. Okay, on Untapped, it's showing it's 11% ABV, but on the can, it's showing it's a 10%, so it may be a little bit of a change per batch. Let me see if it's... Okay, so this is what it's looking like right here. So this is the 2021 version. So on Untapped, it shows the 2021 variant, and that one's saying it's the 10%, but it looks like everybody's checking it in on like just the overall Smeerolie coconut milkshake page, which is just the regular Smeerolie coconut milkshake. So it's not really showing like the time of year and all that stuff, and that's where more of the ratings are kind of coming in. But I don't think there's gonna be much of a difference between showing as 11% from a 10%. And so with it being a 10% ABV, you guys know by now I would not consider this beer sessionable one bit, just because you're going to have one of these and you're definitely going to be feeling it for sure. And let's see. And on this page, it's showing the Smeerolie coconut milkshake with 11,832 ratings. This one has an average rating of 4.1 out of 5, which is pretty damn good. So let's look here on my friends list and see if anybody in my friends list checked this one in. So we got my father, which when I purchased this, I was able to get 2. So, of course, my father checked this one. He gave it a 3.75 out of 5, purchased off Tavor, which is how we got ours. So let's look here. Mr. Bogan checked this one in. His can looks a little bit different, but what he said is a thick, liquid bounty bar. Delicious, darkish chocolate flavors with roasted coconut and bready bakery flavors. Sweet, sweet, sweet. So maybe his variant may be a little bit different. I'm not getting much really crazy sweetness with this one, so maybe the regular version versus the 2021 version is a little bit different when it comes to flavors. But I'm not really getting a crazy amount of sweetness, and he gave it a 4.25 out of 5. So that's a pretty good rating. But let's look here at the global rating and see what other people had to say about this one. So this person purchased it at a place I can't even pronounce. He gave it a 4.5 out of 5. Let's see, another 4.5 out of 5 just said damn. Let's see, we got another 4.5. Oh, we got a 3 out of 5 here. We got a 3.75. We got a 4. What else we got here? This guy gave it a 4.25. purchased at Favorite Beers, which I wonder if that's okay. So Favorite Beers looks like it's a beer store / liquor store overseas, and he gave it a 4.25, saying Cam share, great find, really enjoyed. Yeah, this is definitely a good one. Let's see. Another purchase at Favorite Beers, given a 4.25 out of 5, and he said enjoyed more than last time. So this is probably a second check-in with this one. He actually enjoyed this one more than his first experience with it. So I guess maybe the flavors just kind of played with his palate a little bit better. But let's see, we got a 2.75 here. We got another. This looks like a 4.5. Another 4.5. Let's do two more. Let's see, another 4.5, and then we got a 4.75 here. So pretty damn good ratings when it comes to some of the recent stuff, I would say. Okay, so you got some Anchorage on deck for tonight. You got something called Cow Trippin'. Real pumped. Nice. Okay. So that okay, I get it, Ian. Okay. So, yeah, pretty damn good ratings on this one overall. So, with all that being said, let's start trying to figure out what we're going to be doing for ratings over here in our end with this guy. So, let me pour a little bit more into the glass. One more sip because it's delicious. And the first thing we like to look at over here is can art. And I really like this can art. I love the colors. I love the detail in it. But there's also something really, really cool about it as well. This one almost feels like it's like a vinyl. It definitely has a different kind of texture on the can art that almost has like a grippiness to it that makes me think it's almost vinyl when it comes to the label, which I think is a really nice touch. It lets, to me, when you're having a vinyl label, it almost lets the colors pop a little bit more because the surface you're printing on seems just able to hold it a lot more and all that kind of stuff, make the colors a little bit more bold and everything like that. And I just love that kind of tiki kind of guy, like a tiki glass milkshake situation. Of course, having the wrench in there, which is like the brewery's like logo. If you see right there, there's the wrench on their logo. So putting the wrench in there, I think, is a really nice touch. It's almost like rusted over. But I think this is a really, really cool can art. Love the texture, love the colors, and having it be that vinyl kind of look to it, I think is just really, really cool. So I'm going to give this a very, very solid 4.75 out of 5 for can art. I really do enjoy this one. This is definitely something that would catch my attention at a liquor store or bottle shop for sure. So let's see. If I went over to the Netherlands, went over to this brewery, I'm not even going to try to say the name again because I'll just butcher it again. But if I got this in a flight, would I get another one? See, this is tough because I like my milk stouts a little bit sweeter. It has every other kind of flavor and like mouthfeel that I enjoy out of a milk stout. The creaminess, the almost semi-bitter chocolate flavors. To me, I wish it was a little bit sweeter. And that tobacco flavor at the end kind of threw me through a loop. I'm not saying I don't enjoy it, but it's not something that I would expected out of a milk stout. So overall, that tobacco roasty kind of flavor at the end is nice. It's very nostalgic for me. But I don't know if this would be something that I would have a glass of it and then go crazy to try to get another one, to be honest. So if I got this in a flight, I'd probably be okay with just having one. But let's just say if I didn't go to the brewery and I saw this at a liquor store or bottle shop, I would definitely pick up a 4-pack just because I think it looks interesting. Even though I wouldn't say it's my favorite milk stout that I've ever had, it's still really solid. It definitely has different flavors than I've ever experienced when it comes to... Oh, wow, New South Wales is in Australia, by the way. Yeah. Okay, don't mind me. I'm just an idiot over here that doesn't know where my freaking cities and shit are. I don't know. But it is what it is. But let's see here. What is next? Okay, final rating. So, what are we going to do with our final rating on this guy? That's going to be an interesting kind of thing. That's tough. That's going to be tough, but... I'm going to give this one a very, very solid 7.5 out of 10. Really solid. If you enjoy your creaminess in your milk stouts, this is definitely what I would recommend for you. If you want to try something different when it comes to having the creaminess and having that almost like earthy tobacco-y kind of flavor at the end, if that's something you enjoy, I think this would be something that is like a go-to kind of pickup because it reminds me of dark beer and a cigarette kind of feel at a bar, and it's very nostalgic, very reminiscent, and overall I think the flavors are pretty damn nice on here. Like I said, I wish it was a little bit sweeter. That's kind of my only gripe on it, But if it had a little bit more sweetness to it, it would easily be in like the 8.5, almost 9 kind of realm, because I think that would balance out that almost bitterness of the chocolate. I think it would kind of mellow down those like tobacco-y kind of flavors that I'm getting at the end. But overall, it's still a really, really solid beer. So I definitely enjoyed this one. I would definitely love to try some more beers from this brewery. So who knows? They might show up more on tap on Tavour to where I can get my hands on some more beers from them. But other than that, I think that's pretty much what I have for you guys today, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you, everybody in chat, for hanging out. You guys are awesome. If you haven't yet, please hit that like button. It would help me out a lot. Also, if you're new to the channel and like what you see, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well, along with that notification bell. It'll let you know whenever I go live or another review. And let's see, you can follow me on all my social media platforms. You can follow me on Instagram. That's where you'll see daily hand checks of what I'm be reviewing. They'll kind of give you your first heads up of what's going to be reviewed on that day. But of course, you'll see other like shenanigans and stuff when it comes to me working at the brewery, new beer releases, days that I'm brewing, all that kind of stuff. So you can keep an eye out for updates and stuff on there as well. But of course, you could also shoot me a friend request on Untappd. I love Untappd as a platform. I like to call it Facebook for beer drinkers. It's a really, really fun time. Okay, so you do like a good degree of bitterness in your stouts. So yeah, flavors are different for everybody, and so you might really enjoy this one. But you can also shoot me a friend request on Untappd. Like I said, I like to call it Facebook for beer drinkers. It's a fantastic platform over there. You can check in beers, get badges, all that kind of stuff. It's just a really, really fun time. Plus, you can see what people like me, Ian, Wintucky, Kevin, Duchess, Logan, a bunch of us are on there on Untappd all the time, drinking beers, just having a good time. So if you want to shoot me a friend request on there, link to my profile is down in the description below. But also, if you want to support me a little bit more by helping me get a little bit extra money in my pocket to get more beers in my possession, to do reviews, plus being able to give back to my patrons as well, I do have a Patreon available to where I also do monthly 4-pack giveaways of Illinois exclusive craft beers. So they're going to be 4-packs that I pick out personally of multiple different breweries within the Illinois state, and stuff that I am possibly be doing reviews on as well. So you can join whatever tier, and depending on where tier you join, you have a better chance of winning that 4-pack. So plus I have a bunch of other stuff planned when the more the Patreon gets a little more busier, when it comes to like getting the Discord for the patrons available. I'm working on possibly getting merch, shirts, glassware, coasters, koozies, all that kind of stuff. So if you want to see updates on that or any kind of updates happening on this channel, Patreon is going to be the first places you're going to find it. So if you want to join, the link to that is always down in the description below as well. But other than that, that is what I have for you guys today. So again, thank you everybody in chat for hanging out. You guys are amazing. Thank you everybody who's going to be watching the replay as well. You guys are awesome. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch my stuff. And I'm going to end this like I always do before we get the hell out of here. If you're going to drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. And I'll see you all next time. Cheers.